It's everywhere, all over the news. Experts are predicting that we're heading into another recession this year. Are you ready for this? Well, it's not quite here yet. That's great. We still have some time, and it's very important we stay ahead of this. So I have a very short video today. Stay through this. 5 proven ways, not just to survive, but to prosper and thrive through a recession time. That's what this channel is all about. All right, number 1, nobody wants to hear this. Create a strict budget. When times are easy, you have some extra money, it's human nature to blow that extra money or possibly subscribe to things you don't normally subscribe to or buy things you don't necessarily need. It happens all the time. But you know what? Tough times haven't hit yet, but now's the time to start trimming the fat. Go through and find out those things that you don't really need or possibly frivolous spending. Trim it out now so you have that extra money. Find those areas you spend too much on and make it so you don't spend so much on them. Number 2, nobody wants to hear this either. Set up an emergency fund. And now, obviously, setting aside cash is good. During inflation times, not necessarily, because the more your money sits aside, the less value it becomes. It's money that's not being used. Think of it that way. But very rarely during recessions, you have inflation. It does happen, but very rarely. So having money set aside during these recession times is a great idea. If you can, have a month or 2 or 3 of all your bills set aside so that way you can pay them during these troubled times. But listen, credit cards are not the answer to this. They are not the answer. Do not go down that path. It's going to worsen the situation. All right, so of course, a good argument is, I don't have any extra cash. I know. Number 3, invest in things that will give you a return. Now, I'm not saying invest like stock market necessarily or mutual funds, but listen, right now, things are relatively good. I mean, things are not the best, but people perceive it as. And people actually have extra money. They can afford extra things right now. That's why we're trying to get ahead of this before it happens. So this is the perfect time, by the way. If you have some extra things in the attic or the basement in your backyard, you don't need any more. I don't use that anymore. Right now, you stand an excellent chance of selling it to someone, whereas during a recession, you won't. So this is the time to get rid of those items and get a decent price for it. eBay, yard sales. Yard sales. We're heading into yard sale season, the perfect time, obviously, to buy and sell things that we need. But even better, find ways to make extra cash. I have people on the channel all the time saying, I can't afford to buy these things. Then find way. When there's a will, there's a way. Find ways to make extra cash so you can buy the extra things you will need. We're not talking about luxuries. We're talking about survival. We're talking about having the food you need to survive what's coming. So don't think that you don't have enough cash. You need to get your mindset in saying, if there isn't, I need to find ways. Maybe you can write a book you've always wanted to, or watch some neighbors' kids. People are looking for that kind of stuff. Dog sitting, a cleaning service. What do all these have in common? Personal. People don't want to hire a corporation to watch their dog. They don't want to hire some corporation daycare to watch their kids. They do that because they have no choice when you could be doing those things and actually making really good money with it, by the way. Number 4, you need to prioritize your debt payoff. This is a really big one. Now, debt is debt, and I understand sometimes you have to go into debt. I mean, obviously, I recommend you never go into debt for anything, but things happen, especially when it comes to your mortgage. And the mortgage is the most shocking part about this. Now, if you have a couple small credit card bills, pay those off first, high interest rates, then use that extra money to work on your mortgage or whatever the case may be. But I want you to understand something, that if this recession turns into a depression, which it very well might, during the Great Depression, people lost their homes. And it's not from what you think where they just lost their job. No, we're talking about people who literally were on time for every one of their payments, still had a job, but because of the way the economy is working, read your fine print in your mortgage lien. Read it. I'm not kidding you. Look this up. Literally, they can call your loan with 30 days notice out of the blue. And they did this during the Great Depression. That's scary. I'm making all my payments. Doesn't matter. You have 30 days to pay off this loan or we're taking your home. Especially today, these corporations want to take homes like no tomorrow because they turn them into rental. That's what they want to do, is make everything so you don't own your home, but we'll rent it from them instead. So watch for this. And then finally, number 5, diversify your assets. And again, that sounds like a huge thing, mutual funds. It doesn't necessarily mean that. Your assets are things you own. I want you to understand that during the Great Depression, those who didn't just survive but thrived had tangible assets, physical items they could hold in their hand. Not like imaginary money as far as like credit and stocks. And yeah, there's a lot of imaginary stuff in stocks too, by the way, but actually hard, tangible assets, things they owned, they did very, very well, very well. And as Goshen prepping, that's what we focus on, isn't it? We talk about, you know what, when you see cans of corn on sale, if you fill up corn, if it's on sale, buy twice as many, 3 times as many. When this is on sale, buy extra of that and stock up on this, because you know what, when the time comes, having the extra food and gear, we're talking about bartering, really bad times. People really want that stuff. And you are suddenly now rich because you have these things because you thought ahead of time. That's what Goshen prepping is all about. All right, again, listen, relax. We're not there yet. We are more than likely heading into a recession. And you know, all those things that we talk about in the grocery store, there's still a lot of inexpensive stuff right now. Sales are fantastic. Take advantage of the sales and stock up on that stuff now. Stock up now, hit the sales, even hit yard sales coming up too. Because tough times are coming. But listen, this is the moral of the story. Goshen prepping, we prepare for those tough times, not to survive, but to thrive and shine and do very well, because tomorrow is a good tomorrow, and we want to prepare for that. Thanks for watching, as always, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.